The Australian Ghost Whisperer with Katerina Legato and James Jennings. Hello everyone, how's it going?
Hi everyone, welcome back.
Welcome back. We've got a pretty cool episode today actually. We are going to talk about psychic development. So I know that like a lot of people look at you, Katerina, and they're blown away by your psychic ability, and they probably see it as something that they could never possibly do or tap into. But is it actually possible for anyone to develop their psychic ability and strengthen that skill?
Absolutely. Everybody has the ability to develop their psychic abilities because in reality we are spiritual beings having an earthly experience. So our souls are ancient, and we've had that many past lives, probably thousands of past lives. So what happens when you begin to meditate and develop your psychic abilities? You begin to recall the past. So you may have, like I've seen clients who've had past lives as ancient Egyptians that were really high priestesses, but we forget through every lifetime. Unfortunately, our memories are wiped and we forget these gifts. But when you begin to meditate, you'll actually begin to activate those gifts that you've already acquired through past lives. It's just that in this day and age, psychic abilities are not taught at school. Everything is very practical. Everything is just about, what you can see, sense, feel, touch. But when you begin to meditate and you begin to set that intention to develop your psychic abilities, but also to awaken the psychic abilities that you've already acquired through many other past lives, then you will develop them. And sure, everybody develops their psychic abilities at different stages. And also some people are amazingly, it just opens up very quickly, and others it takes time. But everybody, you come from a spiritual realm, therefore you already are a spiritual being, therefore you already have acquired the spiritual gifts and the spiritual knowledge through all the past lives that you have already experienced. Yeah? Makes sense?
It does. And I've said this before on the show as well, but I know in my experience that meditating and developing psychic ability, it's like exercise. It's like if you don't exercise, you're not fit. If you exercise, you get stronger, you get fitter. And it's exactly the same with meditation. Well, at least that's in my experience.
It takes commitment and dedication, and it takes time.
Practice.
Practice. And when you develop these amazing abilities, you also begin to heal yourself. You become so much more aware of yourself. You wake up, you become so much more conscious of your dramas, the patterns that you're playing out in your life. You become conscious of your environment, of reality. You become conscious of the different dimensions that exist. It's endless, and you become consciously aware of who you really are, all of your past lives or most of your past lives. And you also begin to understand energy and how to change energy, how to transform energy, how to manifest. It's a huge one. People often say to me, I'm trying to manifest. It never works. I've done this, I've done that. Because they're not using the power of the psychic energy that is very powerful, and the power of the heart chakra that is very powerful, and how to manipulate energy. When you have put these three things together, you will manifest and you will create, because we are all creators. Again, we've been taught that, we're just a 3D body and that's it. We're all creators. We come from a creator God. Therefore, the spark of creativity, the spark of divinity is within every single human being. Again, activating that spark, activating that light within you, activating the spirit within you and the creative spark within you is going to also help the psychic ability, developing the third eye. Learning to use this is a third eye. It's a psychic eye that helps us to see beyond 3D. So when you meditate and you focus on the third eye, which is the third eye in the middle of your forehead, you begin to be able to see other dimensions and realities. Like, I love it. I love meditating, and I just focus in my third eye, and I just see so many other realms, and I'm able to communicate with so many other high beings and my guides and my sacred soul family. I can see energy. I bring energy and light into my energy field, into my environment. So this is how it's such a joyful and beautiful experience. So everybody has this within them, but you've just got to want to do it and want to commit to it. And it's just so amazing, what you can do. You can heal your body, you can heal yourself, you can heal others, you can heal your environment. So these are all the wonderful things that come from developing your psychic ability and becoming a clear conduit of that the divine energy that is here on this planet, the Creator God, that connection. We're all connected to Creator God, but again, we're unaware. But when you begin to develop your psychic abilities, you begin to be able to communicate with God. Again, religion makes us believe that God is outside of us and this high and mighty being that you have no right, you can't not hear the voice of God. That is so wrong. I have heard the voice of God so many times in my lifetime, and it is this subtle, loving communication, and you do have that ability. We've just been told that we don't, because we need to be disempowered. The dark forces that run this planet want us to feel disempowered and believe that God is outside of us. God is within you. God is the Creator that created you. You are a divine spark of the Creator God. So you are able to absolutely have a clear communication with our divine Creator. But again, you need to heal, you need to clear the blockages, the disbelief, you need to clear out the religious programming in your head that tells you can't do this. That's the first thing. You need to believe that you are a loving divine being and that you have a right to this communication.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, speaking of dark forces, it's fear is a disconnection and a separation from love. Love is God. And if you look around at the planet, obviously, there's a lot of fear, and we are taught from birth that we're all separate beings, and it feels like people are becoming more and more about the individual, less about the community. So we're kind of being pushed in this dark direction of being separate from each other. Even, social media and whatever, which keeps us separate, like we're not actually with each other in person as physical beings. We're all being siphoned off into these little individual digital lives away from each other. We are taught that we're separate, as you said, separate from God, when the truth is no, we are absolutely connected to God. God is in us. We are in God. It's like it's the one thing, and the same with humanity. So that separation is...
This is what's caused the havoc on this planet.
Yeah, but that's also the deception and the false belief that keeps us from tapping in to our psychic, spiritual abilities. Would that be
absolutely correct? Yes. Because, as I've said, when we are born into this, each lifetime we've had our memories wiped of all the beautiful experiences and gifts that we've had. So we need to reactivate them. And of course, the dark forces on this planet, they want to keep us in a state of dumb, zombie, and they also want to hook us up to AI and make us become these zombies where all we do is communicate to each other via, our laptops and computers and have no more communication or connection with each other as human beings. And as human beings, we need that connection to our human family.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on this planet that people are completely unaware of. But this is where, when you develop your gifts, you're going to become so consciously aware of truth and what is really going on. See, the problem is that there's so many distractions on this planet, television, the news, it's all fear-mongering. It's all fear. Be scared, be scared, be scared, be scared you're not going to have enough money. Be scared that you're not good enough. Be scared that you're not healthy enough. You go to the doctor, be scared, because no one ever tells you are a powerful, creative individual, and that within you is the ability to heal yourself, the ability to grow spiritually, the ability to speak and communicate with your prime creator, God. Who tells you that? Nobody, except for us here and I know there's other beautiful spiritual beings that believe this and understand this. So if you're not willing to do the work, you're never going to obviously enjoy the benefits of being an awakened spiritual being and being able to have fully activated with your psychic abilities, your energetic, your healing abilities. This comes with, again, commitment and dedication. And every single one of you has these gifts already inside of you. I was so lucky, and I thank God all the time that I obviously had all of this quite awakened within me as a young child. And so therefore, it was always very natural for me to talk to other beings in other realities and other planets and the spirit world. But I was made fun of quite a bit through school. People just, other kids would just say that I was crazy, and I was always speaking to myself. So lucky I was never put away. But, and I thank God that I knew that, and that gift was there for me, and that for me it was very natural, and it's always been very natural. I love being able to sit and communicate with beautiful other beings in higher dimensions. I've learned so much from them. But I've also, created this balance in my life where, yes, I do live a 3D life. Also, I don't run around spending my whole day talking to the spirit realms, but I have the balance of both. And I feel that is what's kept me being able to do this work for 30 years full time. I mean, a lot of healers, a lot of people who step out in this, they don't last. They burn out because either they're doing it the wrong way, they haven't healed their issues, or they are just not balanced between spirit world and the physical world. And so they burn out very quickly, unfortunately. But when you create the balance of the physical and the spiritual, and you're able to enjoy and be part of both of those realities, and you know how to combine them in a balanced way, you become this incredibly powerful being.
What I want to ask you about next is, so in terms of people opening up their psychic development, I know that when it first happens, it can be quite shocking or confronting or alarming. It can be, it's like any new experience where you're like, it comes as a bit of a shock because it's like, this has never happened to me before. So I know I've experienced that. We have a mutual friend who I think is quite psychically active, but she
is afraid.
Gets a bit afraid to push it further. So there is fear attached to pushing this further. How can we overcome that fear? And is there anything to be afraid of?
Mm-hmm. Very good point, James. Yes, I've heard many people say, oh my God, I saw a spirit or I saw something and I got so scared. And this is again because you've been programmed to disassociate with anything outside of the 3D reality. And by being able to just understand that, is that if you're going to start to spiritually awaken and develop, you will be in communication with other realities and realms. And this is very natural. The high ETs that are on the high dimensions, they all communicate with each other. It's just that we've been taught here that that's not possible, that you can't. If you learn this and you sit in a proper development circle, and you begin to heal your own wounds so that you become high vibrational, you will be in touch with the higher realities, the higher beautiful beings that are in the higher dimensions. But if you go into this and you just start to, all you want to do is spiritually develop but not work through your own issues and healing and traumas, then you're going to be in touch with the lower realities. And so that's going to be scary. And I know this because before I fully developed my own gifts, when I was like a teenager, I hadn't developed any gifts. And so therefore, or any sort of, I developed my gifts. I hadn't developed my healing. I hadn't healed myself. And I did come from a very challenging childhood. My childhood was very challenging, to say the least. So I had a lot of trauma and pain. So I was finding myself resonating more with the lower frequency entities, and that was very scary. But then as I got that little older, I started to go and to this amazing, wonderful man, and it was called Rebirthing, and it was all about working through your traumas and taking you back to the time of when you were first birthed into reality. So that was one of the things. I did fire walks, I've done ayahuasca, and I'm not saying this is for everybody. I've done so much, and I continue to do so much to consistently heal myself and make sure that I'm always in a higher frequency. So that is the important part of developing your psychic abilities. If you're not willing to heal your traumas, and we've all got traumas, trust me, we've all got pain. Just the pain of separation from our creator when we're born into this world is one big trauma that we all carry. Because trust me, none of us wanted to be here. We've all been here by force or because we've got lessons and experiences to get through. But the first trauma is the separation from our creator that we feel when we come into this reality. So that's the first one that needs to heal. And then the childhood, we're like sponges. We take on our parents' stuff. And you might have been lucky to have had wonderful parents that were really loving and kind, but there's still, you might have had a very dysfunctional school teacher or being bullied at school or whatever. We've all got pain and wounds within us, but we can heal them, or we can make our peace with them. So when we do that, then we are going to vibrate at that higher frequency, which allows us then to be in communication to the higher realms, to the beautiful high ETs on other planets, and the voice of God.
Yeah, that's a really good point. The healing the trauma is
it's so important.
So important.
I have honestly, I've been terrified where I have actually met in my 30 years. I've met people that are out there doing psychic work, like doing readings and healings, and they are so traumatized. So their conduit is not clear. And it's really sad because you can't be helping others if you haven't helped yourself. To me, it's a lifetime commitment. I'm always checking into myself. I'm always trying to work through. And if I'm feeling pain, then I will feel it. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to suppress it. If I need to cry, if I need to vent, I do it. And that's what it's all about. The more you suppress, the more it sits there and builds. It bubbles up and builds and builds and builds. That's why people get sick. Because all their energies and the meridians get really stuck with all this pain and sorrow and suppressed energy, and then people become depressed and they need antidepressants and they need psychiatric drugs, and whereas if they had just looked at it, and sometimes I'm saying you do need somebody to help you work through your traumas. It can be very frightening to do this on your own. But there are amazing healers out there that can help you do that. And the more you begin to heal, the more you're going to feel the flow of divine energy, the flow of God within you. The more you heal, the more you're going to connect with that almighty, powerful soul and spirit that you are. And that's going to, that's going to send you flying into the highest of realms and frequencies beyond the 3D realm. But also being able to bring this light into this beautiful planet, because again, it needs healing, and it's very clear that the weather disasters, and that it's just, if you really people woke up and really looked at what was going on, and a lot of this again is kept from us, then you would really understand that it's just not about just we're bringing babies into this planet. We've got to heal. What are we leaving for these children? Like, what are they going to do? Where do they begin? And I know we're getting a lot of high frequency babies and little beautiful starseed children coming in, but we have to take responsibility. And I don't know that most of our listeners do, but there's a lot of people not willing to take any responsibilities. They're just here for service to self. Well, these people are going to keep reincarnating over and over again, and it's not going to be pleasant. It's going to get harder and harder and harder until they're actually willing to do the work that they need to do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I had a question as well about, we're talking about developing, obviously, we're talking about healing, we're talking about developing psychic ability and spiritual development. I was listening to a podcast today and they were talking about remote viewing, which is, it's like I guess there's a process where you're given coordinates or something and you can kind of tap into things, non-local things. So it can be information or a location or whatever. But I guess it's, to me, what I interpret remote viewing as is it's a type of psychic tuning in to things in a very specific way. And they were saying on this podcast as well, there's a guy who teaches it, and he was like, when I first heard about it and I heard that you could learn it, I was like, no way, there's no way that I'm going to be able to do this. And then he was taught how to do it, and he can do it, and he's been doing it for 25 years. He's been teaching how to do it. So that's something, so these things can be taught.
Absolutely. We are infinite beings, and we can teach ourselves to go into a situation that we might want to remote view. It could be something in the future. We may want to remote view, well, where will the planet be at 10 years from now? And you can take your consciousness down that timeline to actually be able to view. So it's like you're above the actual experience of what's happening 10 years from now on this planet, and through your third eye you can actually view what's going on. You can take yourself into the past. You can see history. Everything we've been told about history on this planet is not true. A lot of it's not true. So you can take yourself as an infinite, powerful being and see it for yourself. So yes, you can do remote viewing. This is something that we will be covering in the private Patreon group that will be teaching that. So it's endless what the abilities that one can develop when they are willing to take the time. And make a difference for yourself. Become the best and biggest version of yourself. Why feel limited? Why feel fearful? Why feel afraid of the boogeyman? Look at that boogeyman. If you're going to feel scared, look at him straight in the face and say, you know what? Go away. I'm not scared. I've had a lot of dark entities come and try and attack me, and they don't want me doing this work and waking people up. I've had endless of these dramas of these horrible creatures trying to scare me off my path. And I'm like, no, I stand in my light and I shine my light on them and they ping off. So we are an incredible, infinite, powerful source of energy that is part of our Creator, and we have accessibility to anything that we require if we want to believe that and go through the processes and teach ourselves and commit to that. And that is the best thing that anybody could learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because what we're taught on this planet is to be limited, to work like a slave, to work for a wage, to work and pay taxes, to work and spend your life paying a mortgage off and so on. And it's just total, everything is fear-based and limited.
Yeah, become a smaller version of yourself.
Yeah, or non-existent. You're a nothing and nobody. But when you step out of that and you begin to say, no, I am an unlimited source of Creator God energy, and I can expand and I can become conscious and I can begin to master my reality and direct it in a way that suits my needs, then you watch the whole world change and the whole world really begin to heal, because that is what we are here for to do. And if we don't do this, things will get tougher and harder, so that as always we'll be pushed in a corner and made to do it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think we're at an incredible time on this planet where we can really rise.
Yeah, yeah. And as Katerina mentioned, we have set up a Patreon account, and it's for the reason of that we actually want to empower people to be able to heal themselves, to develop their psychic ability, to develop their spiritual, gifts and selves.
And reawaken the gifts that are already inside of you,
Yeah.
that are there. They're there in your cells. They're there. The memory's in your DNA. It's in your energy field. It's in that spark of your light body. All those memories are there. We're just going to activate them.
Exactly. And as Katerina said, it's not taught at school, so we're going to teach it ourselves.
Unfortunately. Maybe in the future, though, I believe that schools will change. The
that'd be
school
amazing.
system will change, and you will be taught that you are also a spiritual being, that you are not just a physical shell of a body.
Yeah, I'm sure we both could have done with
Wouldn't
that.
that be wonderful
in our school
if they
years?
taught spirituality in schools?
Yeah, like true spirituality, yeah.
But again, it's up to us to demand
And make
this
the
and want
change.
it and
Yeah.
make the change, and then it can happen for the children of the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then we can be free to communicate with all the other beautiful enlightened beings that exist in other galaxies and planets and universes,
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of being so afraid.
Yeah, and we are very much, kind of taught this is the way things are, can't change it. Oh well, may as well give
Bad
up.
luck.
And that's
This was like, oh, I've just got this bad luck. No, you don't have to have
Yeah.
bad luck. If you want to believe you've got bad luck, then bad luck you will have. But you can say no. Gosh, like, you can really be determined and say to you in your mind, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to feel limited. I'm no longer going to feel like a victim of circumstances. And I know it's tough. Sometimes you feel as though, you've lost your job, you've lost your home, but the universe will always bring back to you what you've lost when you allow yourself to step into that unlimited energy of a prosperity and abundance. But if you're going to lay on the ground in a fetal position, and look, maybe sometimes we've all had to do that for a while, but you've got to get out of it. You've got to lift up, you've got to stand up, and you've got to say, no, I'm going to somehow, the universe will always bring you what you need and what you want and what you desire.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you feel like a victim, then you begin to create a life of victim, and you'll be a victim for the rest of your life. And then you're going to have to come back and do that again and again until you wake up, become conscious and say, right, enough's enough.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's, a new reality is possible, but it's in our hands. Like, it's not, no one's going to do it for us. Like, it's up to
We're
us.
happy. I'm happy, James and I'm so grateful to James to help. I could not have ever set any of this up without him. But our motivation is to help you and teach you and, give you back your power, give you back everything that was taken from you, Every time we go through a terrible experience and we lose a piece of ourselves, a piece of our energy, but that's where I have to do a lot of soul retrieval on people to bring back the aspects of their soul that they've lost to the last divorce or the last, horrible situation that happened to them. But you can bring those pieces of your soul back together so that you can begin to heal, feel powerful. And like I said, the universe always brings back anything that was lost or taken away from you if you allow it to be so. And that was our motivation for doing this.
Yeah.
This is our gift. We felt that we wanted to do our piece for humanity. And yes, I've been doing healing and readings and house clearings for 30 years, but I felt for myself it was time to teach empowerment. And I really felt that very strongly from spirit, especially as I sit back and see the chaos on the planet. So this is my gift. Like, we're not sitting here making millions of dollars out of this, but this is what we want to give you is priceless.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's our gift to humanity.
Yeah, and Katerina's right. Like, it's we're aware that a new reality is possible if we do the work. And in a way, doing this series is about finding like-minded people and getting them together in a community to sort of empower them and, strength in numbers.
That's right. And then as one spark lights up, it'll light up another spark and another. So that's what I mean. Don't feel like
that. We do.
Yeah, don't feel like it's just me. I'm just a person. What changes can I make? By you lighting up your spirit, your light body, by you powering up and becoming connected with that powerful soul that you are, you will help to light up the next person and the next person. You'll be amazed. You can just go into a place and light up the energy. Do you know, sometimes I go to the nail salon. I don't go often, but sometimes I go and have a little splurge. And they're very quiet. I walk in, no, we're not busy. No, I haven't been busy. And by the time the lady's finished doing my nails, her salon's packed because I've gone in there with light. I haven't even gone in there for intentions to get busy. But my energy has just drawn people unconsciously. They're like seeing the nail shop and it's like, I'm going to go get my nails done. I know that's just a silly example, but when I go into a shop, if it's really quiet, within 5-10 minutes, it's packed. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
Everywhere I've gone.
Yeah, I've got an even sillier example than that.
Go for it.
And I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but what the hell?
Please do.
Right,
Bare your soul.
So I'm going to do it. I'm already cringing at telling you this, but what the hell? So, I've had that experience where, I've been out, partying, and if I'm... Okay, I know this sounds kind of dumb, but what the hell? So I've been out on the dance floor, and there might be no one around, but I'm in such a happy, light-filled, just joyful, and I'm listening to the music, and I'm just I'm going to dance. I'm feeling good.
The John Travolta.
Yeah, the John Travolta.
Stay alive.
Yeah, busting the moves. So I'll dance, and within a few minutes, people start flocking to, flocking might be an exaggeration, but people just start gathering, and it feels like it frees them up to feel that joy and do it as well. And before you know it, it takes one person to light up the dance floor, and you've probably experienced this.
You've all experienced
you light up, you get up there, you dance, and people just start coming in. And I've got people who can back this up. I'm not making it up, but. That's my example of that.
It's true. When you're high vibe, it just draws other people.
It does. It's like bees to the honey or whatever.
Gosh, when I used to go when I was about 18, 19, I used to jump out the window because I had these very strict parents who didn't like us going out. So we had a few girlfriends, so we'd all jump out the window and go discoing. And we'd disco, and we were so excited because we jumped out the window, and we'd have all these guys always wanting to dance with us. And once this guy goes to me, he goes, "You've always got so many guys out. I have to wait to ask you to dance." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I know. I'm just used to this." So that's what I mean. It was just when you're excited and joyful, and people just gravitate to you. They do.
When you light up
light up the world. Yeah. So when you're happy and you've healed your traumas, gosh, I can tell you, I've had a hell of a childhood. You wouldn't even begin to believe where I've come from. But I healed all that. Thank God I've healed all that. And I love my family. I've completely made my peace with my parents, and they are who they are. But if I was still carrying that pain around and that hurt, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this and telling you my story. But you can heal, and you can become a light in the world.
Exactly.
Light up the world.
Yep. We want you to get on the spiritual dance floor with us.
Come with us on Patreon and help us. We can help you light yourself up, and then you go off and light up the world also.
Here we go.
And that's what our world needs. More light, more love.
There you go. That's the mission.
That's it.
That's the
mission. What the world needs is love.
Yeah.
Real love. Unconditional love.
Absolutely.
That's all this world needs. And for our future generations, we're both parents. We want to see our future children thrive and move on and live in a happy, healthy world.
Yeah,
where love reigns, not darkness and diseases and all the stuff we're going through.
Yeah.
And weather disasters, and it goes on, and starvation, children starving. I mean, how do we allow this to happen? This is one thing I can tell you for sure, is that when I have communicated to other higher beings on other planets, they're shocked by how we treat each other and how we allow children in third world countries to be starving. And like, this is what I mean. It's time. We've got to come together as a human family and make a difference. It's, it's fun to go shopping, get your nails done, but we've got to do the work.
Yeah.
We've got to change the course of this reality.
Yeah, and get rid of this idiotic notion of separation. Dividing people up into races and religions and
colour of your skin.
Yep, socioeconomic, sexuality, all that stuff. It's all nonsense.
It's all crap.
All
just
nonsense.
To keep you.
It's all there to build the illusion of separation and otherness. There is no otherness. There's only oneness.
We're all one. We all come from the Creator. We are all individual sparks of creation. We all have our own personalities and our own gifts and things like to share and exchange, but we all come from an incredible source of unconditional love.
Yeah, and your body's just a suit, and at the end of your life, you've got to give the suit back.
Then it goes in the ground, or it'll get burnt in a fire and cremated or whatever. It's not going to matter. What's going to matter is that incredible light and what the legacy you've left behind.
Yes.
When you go back to your Creator, you're going to feel so empowered because you're going to be able to see, I made a difference in my life. I made a difference to people, to the planet, to nature. I made a difference to the animals. I was a conduit for love and goodness.
Well, there you go. I think that's probably a good note to end it on,
I
Kat.
hope that we've motivated you to never feel like you're a victim. We're all survivors, and we can all grow and light up the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're interested in getting on board with us, our Patreon website will be at the bottom of the screen here. You'll be able to see it along here. So we hope you want to come along and join the family and get light. Let's light this up. Let's do it.
Okay, well, thank you, and have a beautiful and awesome day and many blessings for the week, and we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, you betcha. See you next time, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.
To gain access to private spiritual development classes, guided meditations, and live Q&As with Katerina, please visit www.patreon, that's patreon.com/The Australian Ghost Whisperer.